I wanted to see who would win in a Pokemon battle, ChatGPT or Google Gemini. I explained the rules fully to both of them and told them to make strategic decisions to try to win. I said that they can even look up strategies online so that they can think about this some more. I asked them to be careful to not make up information and hallucinate moves that their Pokemon don't actually have, because that's something that AI does sometimes. Sometimes it'll just make up information. And they each have to choose 6 Pokemon for this battle. The winner will be decided when all 6 Pokemon on either team run out of HP. When I first started this challenge, both of the AI seemed very confident and very competent. They made what seemed like good choices, but soon this became very one-sided, with one team completely destroying the other team by the end. ChatGPT chooses to start the battle with Starmie, and Gemini says, "The opponent's roster is top tier even for rentals, featuring the big 3 of Gen 1. This will be a tough fight. To maximize my chances, I need to secure an early game advantage. Lead selection? I choose Jinx." ChatGPT is already asking to use a move that its Pokemon doesn't have. Surf, Thunder, Swift, and Harden. You don't have Thunderbolt. Good catch. Thanks for clarifying the rental move set. Oh, I'm surprised that you want to use Surf instead of Thunder. Okay, if you say so. Okay, and Jinx uses Lovely Kiss. All right. Lovely Kiss, here it is. Let's see what happens. Okay, Starmie uses Surf. Let's see how much damage that's going to deal. Starmie is fast. That's right. They were right that Starmie is faster. Okay, not a crazy amount of damage. Not great damage at all, to be honest. Okay, Jinx uses Lovely Kiss. Does it land or no? Oh, it landed! ChatGPT says, switch to Chansey. Starmie is dead weight while asleep, and Jinx is a special attacker. Chansey is my best special wall, doesn't care about ice/psychic much, and Sleep Claws means Jinx can't put anything else to sleep right now. This preserves Starmie for later and stabilizes the position. That was a perfect start. Starmie is one of the most dangerous rentals, blah, blah, blah. You're happy that it fell asleep. Okay, you get a free switch. Jinx's psychic types are resisted by Starmie, and Blizzard is neutral but won't do enough damage to knock out Starmie. Wait, do you even have Blizzard? You don't even have Blizzard, you have Ice Punch. Now that Starmie is asleep, I want to bring in a counter that can punish a switch-in or blast through Starmie if the opponent stays in. My Jolteon is the perfect candidate here. It outspeeds everything on their team except Alakazam, it ties, and it can threaten a massive Thunderbolt. Even if they switch to Rhydon on my Jolteon swap, I can pivot back to Executor or Starmie. Switch Jinx for Jolteon. Okay, so you're both switching. Kind of funny that both of you are switching, and I think Chansey is probably going to fare better against Jolteon, to be honest. What if they're just going to keep switching Pokemon? Tell me they're not going to keep swapping Pokemon. Switch Chansey to Rhydon, come on. Okay, get a free switch there. Okay, let's see. Okay, they're both swapping to Rhydon. This is so silly.
It's a revolving door of Pokemon.
Yeah, it's a revolving door of Pokemon. The announcer's right about this. Now the question is, are they going to do Earthquake on each other? Because Earthquake is super effective. So whoever goes first is possibly going to take out the other Rhydon. You both swap to Rhydon. What now? ChatGPT says Rhydon uses Earthquake. Reasoning. Mirror Rhydon is almost always decided by Earthquake. It's the strongest, most reliable, same type attack bonus option and pressures either a KO or massive damage while also punishing any risky switch except flyers. You don't have Earthquake, you have Dig. Oh, Rhydon uses Surf in that case. Okay, yeah, so Surf would deal 4x damage, which would be massive, but Gemini says staying in for a Rhydon Mirror is a 50-50 gamble on speed. I'm going to pivot to a hard counter. Executor is the safest play here. It resists Earthquake, it could threaten a 4x super effective Mega Drain or a powerful Psychic. Okay, so Gemini is switching to Executor.
Another Pokemon chain.
Okay, ChatGPT's Rhydon uses Surf. And Gemini's Rhydon switches to Executor and takes almost no damage at 159 out of 168 HP after getting hit by Surf. ChatGPT says switch Rhydon to Zapdos. Reasoning. Executor is extremely dangerous for Rhydon. Okay, swap to Zapdos. Okay, let's see. What is Gemini gonna do? The opponent is in a bad spot. Rhydon is 4x weak to grass, Mega Drain, and has a terrible special stat. Since Sleep Clause is active, Starmie is already asleep. I cannot use Sleep Powder. My best move here is to put on the pressure. Even if the opponent switches to a special tank like Chansey or Alakazam, Psychic is the best play because of its high base power and the 1/3 chance to lower the target's special stat, which in Gen 1 effectively lowers both their special attack and special defense. If they stay in, Rhydon is likely finished. If they switch, I want that special drop on whatever comes out. Executor uses Psychic. You don't have Psychic. You know, such a good strategy, but you just don't have the moves you want. Ah, the joys of rental move sets! I was giving Executor too much credit for a standard set. Egg Bomb and Leech Seed are classic rental fillers. You know, you guys should have done your research before the battle! Since the opponent's Starmie is still asleep, I have a free pass to use status moves without worrying about the Sleep Clause. Mega Drain is the obvious choice to deal 4x damage to Rhydon, but the opponent is almost certainly going to switch. No one leaves a Rhydon in against the grass type. They will likely pivot to Zapdos, Alakazam, or Tauros. By using Stun Spore, I can catch whatever comes in and ruin their speed. So, Executor uses Stun Spore. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Okay, so Rhydon is, of course, switching to Zapdos, and Executor is going to use a Stun Spore here. Let's see if the Stun Spore lands, because it's not 100% accuracy. Let's see. Oh, paralyzed. All right, guys, what's next? ChatGPT, my action this turn. Zapdos uses Drill Peck. Executor is a massive threat if left alone. Okay, you think this Executor knows Psychic and Explosion and Sleep Powder? No, it just used Stun Spore on you. Why is that not part of the moveset here? Drill Peck is super effective. You don't have Drill Peck, you have Sky Attack. Zapdos uses Thunderbolt. Okay. Gemini says I need to bring in Rhydon. Rhydon is completely immune to Zapdos' same type attack bonus electric moves, and it can resist Drill Peck / Sky Attack. Gemini says switch Executor for Rhydon. So let's do that. Let's switch to Rhydon. All right, so look at this. Executor is being switched for Rhydon. So that means if Zapdos can get out his Thunderbolt attack, if it's not paralyzed, it's not going to deal any damage anyways.
What now?
Oh, wait, missed? Is that just what it says if the move has no effect in this? Because Thunderbolt can't miss. Okay, so ChatGPT says swap Zapdos for Alakazam. That is a little bit of a risk here. Oh man, because if Alakazam tanks an Earthquake, that'll deal some damage. Maybe it's not going to use an Earthquake. Let's see what Gemini has to say. Rhydon uses Rock Slide. I'm sorry, but you don't have Rock Slide. Dig, Strength, Thunder, and Surf. You guys really should have done your research. Rental sets strike again. Thunder and Surf on a Rhydon with that abysmal special set are essentially dead moves. And Dig is a dangerous gamble in Gen 1. Switch Rhydon for Starmie. My goodness. You're not even attacking. Okay, so you're both switching. Okay, so ChatGPT switches Zapdos for Alakazam. Gemini. Okay, so Alakazam is out. Gemini switches Rhydon for Starmie. So you both kind of just switch into fast special hitting Pokemon. Alakazam uses Psychic. Bro, you don't have Psychic. You have Psybeam, Metronome, Disable, and Tri Attack. Alakazam uses Psybeam. Okay. Gemini is thinking, Rental Alakazam usually carries Psychic, Recover, and Thunder Wave. It doesn't have any of those moves. Starmie and Alakazam have the same base speed, meaning it's a 50-50 speed tie. Gemini is saying switch Starmie for Executor. Okay, so let's switch back to Executor. Alright, so let's see. Gemini swaps Starmie for Executor. I'm typing this up while we do the battle. Alakazam uses Psybeam. I was gonna say Psy Wave. Executor. Yeah, not much damage at all. Executor is now at 136 out of 168 HP. What now? Oh man, look at this. Going for another Psybeam? I'm so surprised. Executor is still my top threat and Psybeam is my strongest reliable move. Repeating it applies consistent damage while keeping pressure on the opponent, aiming to weaken Executor for a later switch or KO. All right, well, maybe there's a chance that you're going to... No, you can't Stun Spore, bro. Bro, Gemini, that's so sad that you're using Stun Spore. It won't work because you already have a Pokemon that's paralyzed. I believe so, if the Claws effect is active. Okay, so let's see. Alakazam used Psybeam. Executor at 113 out of 168 HP. Oh, I guess you can put multiple Pokemon and paralyze them. That was my mistake then. Executor used Stun Spore, and it hit. Oh, the Sleep Clause only prevents multiple Pokemon from being asleep at the same time, but paralysis can stack across Pokemon, so both Zapdos and Alakazam can be paralyzed. I don't know if that's true, or if they're just giving me a confident AI answer that might be wrong. Okay, my action this turn. Swap from Alakazam to Tauros. Okay, man, look at this. It's so funny that there's no damage on ChatGPT's team, but 3 of the Pokemon are affected by status conditions. And Gemini says, I'm going to bring in Jinx. She resists Psybeam. Okay, so we have 2 switches. There's really so much switching. I'm seriously surprised at how much switching is happening here. In actual competitive Gen 1, is there this much switching like this? There's barely any damage taking place here. This battle's gonna be so much longer than I expect it to be. Okay, Tauros, Body Slam. You don't have Body Slam. You have Double Edge, Fire Blast, Tail Whip, and Bide. ChatGPT says we're gonna use Double Edge in that case. Thanks for the moveset clarification. Gemini says, Jinx needs to get out of there. I have 2 primary options to handle Tauros, Rhydon or Starmie. Rhydon resists the normal type moves, so wants to switch to Rhydon. Smart move, to be honest. Okay, so it looks like Gemini switches Jinx to Rhydon, and ChatGPT uses Double Edge. Rhydon is now at how much HP? Let's see, something out of 181.
What now?
So let's see, not very effective. Okay, 153 out of 181. Okay, and Tauros takes recoil damage and ends up with 144 out of 151 HP. Tauros uses Double Edge again? No way! Rhydon is a huge threat to my team and physically bulky. Double Edge is Tauros' strongest, reliable, same-type attack bonus move and is the best way to continue chipping Rhydon while threatening to get it low enough for a future KO. Tail Whip is situational, Fire Blast is weaker and inaccurate, Bide is too slow. Staying aggressive gives me momentum. ChatGPT, I'm so disappointed. That is such a poor move. Gemini says this, however, I have a problem. As we discovered earlier, my rental Pokemon has a truly bizarre moveset. That's such a funny description. Dig, Strength, Thunder, and Surf. Thunder and Surf will do negligible damage due to Rhydon's poor special stat. Strength is okay, but Tauros is bulky. Dig takes 2 turns. That said, I have the advantage here. Tauros cannot realistically break through Rhydon with normal moves. I'm going to use Strength. Alright, let's go for it. Okay, so Tauros uses Double Edge. Rhydon uses Strength. Yeah, not a lot of damage with that Double Edge there. So let's see, I'll just give them the amount of damage we have at the end of the turn here. A decent hit, okay. Tauros at 94 out of 151 HP. Rhydon at 126 out of 181 HP. What now, same thing again? Huh, is it gonna be Double Edge and Strength again, or what? Switch Tauros to Zapdos. Why would you switch to Zapdos? Are you crazy? Your Zapdos is paralyzed too. ChatGPT, what in the world are you doing? Zapdos is immune to ground moves and can hit Rhydon hard with Thunderbolt or Sky Attack. No! No, that's completely wrong. That is not true. Okay, well, let's see what you're gonna do. Okay, Rhydon uses Strength again. Okay, Gemini, I am putting all of my money on Gemini winning this battle right now. ChatGPT is getting worse and worse as the battle goes on. Gemini is becoming kind of like a smug Pokemon expert going, we have to deal with these subpar movesets right now. Why would anyone put Surf or Thunderbolt on a Rhydon? I have to deal with Strength. Hopefully I can still win this battle. When I told you to check the moves before the battle. Zapdos uses Sky Attack. Alright, good luck. Rhydon uses Strength again. Okay, yeah, he's not too concerned right now because he knows that Zapdos is paralyzed. So at least we're actually starting to deal some damage on each other now. Rhydon actually gets to go first because Zapdos is a lot slower because it's paralyzed. So look at that, some decent damage, okay. Zapdos is fully paralyzed, it can't attack, okay. Switch Zapdos to Rhydon. Okay, if you say so, ChatGPT. Okay, Gemini thinks that he's going to actually take out Zapdos this turn with the strength. Even a bad Rhydon is proving to be a nightmare for this Zapdos, that's so funny. If they switch to Chansey, strength will hit her hard. If they switch to Rhydon, I'll barely tickle it, but I can adjust next turn. Okay, so it does switch to Rhydon. Okay, so let's see. ChatGPT swaps Zapdos for Rhydon. Gemini makes Rhydon use strength on the other Rhydon. Okay, so ChatGPT's Rhydon is 165 out of 181 HP. Gemini's Rhydon is 126 out of 181 HP. This turn, ChatGPT goes for Surf. And Gemini goes, you know what? I don't want to deal with that. I'm going to pivot to Executor. Okay, so let's swap to Executor. Okay, sure. Gemini swaps Rhydon for Executor. ChatGPT uses Surf with Rhydon. Executor is at how much HP now? Executor has HP now. Something out of 168. Not very effective. 104 out of 168. What now, guys? Rhydon uses Surf again. Why? Why do you want to use Surf? Executor is still a major special threat, and Surf is super effective? No! No, it isn't! No, Surf is not super effective on Executor. No! You're so wrong! And it knows that the opponent's active Pokemon is Executor with no status. You think Surf is super effective and deals reliable damage? Repeating Surf here keeps constant pressure and can KO or heavily damage Executor. No! No, this is not the safest way. No, you're so wrong. I'm so sorry. And Gemini's so much smarter right now. It's saying, Gemini says this, strategy and decision. This is the moment Executor was built for. The opponent's Rhydon is sitting right in front of me and 4x weak to grass type moves. While Mega Drain is normally a weak move with 40 base power, in Gen 1 that 4x multiplier against ground rock like Rhydon, combined with its low special stat, makes it hit like a truck. And Executor will recover HP for that. The opponent knows this. I really don't think the opponent does know this. It thinks that Surf is super effective against you. They have three choices. Stay in. Rhydon will likely faint or is left with a sliver of health. Switch to Zapdos. It's already low and paralyzed. It might not survive even a resisted Mega Drain. Or switch to Chansey. Since I have no reason to do anything else, I'm going to go for the 4x super effective hit. Executor uses Mega Drain. All right, well, there we go. Guys, here we go. I think it's defeated, maybe from full HP. Okay, Executor uses Mega Drain. Critical hit! You're done! You're done. Critical hit. Rhydon is KO'd. Executor is now at full HP, 168 out of 168. What now? First Pokemon fainted. Switch to Zapdos. Okay. Zapdos is sent out. Okay, ChatGPT says let's use Sky Attack. You know, that's kind of sad because it takes 2 turns to do that attack. So Gemini's definitely going to be smart enough to switch here. Gemini says the opponent is desperate. They've sent in a crippled Zapdos that is low on health and paralyzed. While Executor is at full health, he doesn't have a great way to hit Zapdos, who resists grass. Zapdos, even while paralyzed, can still threaten with a Drill Peck or Sky Attack. I have the perfect counter sitting on the bench. Rhydon. Okay, so swap to Rhydon. So, Gemini swaps to Rhydon. ChatGPT uses Sky Attack. Let's see if it's paralyzed or if it'll get to charge up its attack. Gemini swaps to Rhydon. ChatGPT uses Sky Attack, but it's paralyzed, so it can't attack. What now? Okay, and look at this. ChatGPT isn't even keeping track of the battle perfectly. Sure, it knows that Zapdos is at 59 out of 162 HP, but it thinks that Rhydon is at full HP, when Rhydon is actually at 126 HP. And if we look at Gemini, it looks like Gemini is doing a better job keeping track of its HP. It says that Rhydon is at 126 out of 181 HP, and it knows that Zapdos is at about 36% HP. Okay, so for whatever reason, ChatGPT is saying swap to Tauros. Zapdos is paralyzed, low HP, and cannot safely take hits from Rhydon's strength. Tauros is faster, healthier, and it can threaten Rhydon with double edge. Not really, to be honest. Okay, and Gemini says Rhydon uses strength. Yeah, and Gemini is thinking, yeah, even if you swap to Chansey, we'll be able to deal a bunch of damage. So let's see what happens. Okay, so ChatGPT swaps Zapdos to, what was it, Tauros. Gemini uses strength with Rhydon. Okay, Tauros has how much HP now? Out of 151 HP? Down to 50 HP now. Okay, and ChatGPT still thinks that Rhydon is at full HP. Now you want to switch to why would you switch to Tauros? Why would you switch to Tauros? What are you doing? If you want to switch to Chansey, that's what we'll do. Okay. Tauros is backed into a corner. It knows it can't do much to Rhydon with double edge. Well, you know what, Gemini? ChatGPT said I can chip away at it. So what are you going to do now? Rhydon uses strength again. Okay, if you want that, all right, let's go for it. Oh, it thinks Rhydon might try to do a desperate Hyper Beam, but nope. Nope. ChatGPT swaps Tauros to Chansey. Gemini uses strength with Rhydon. Let's see what happens. Chansey is at 128 out of 326 HP now. Massive hit because Chansey has horrible defense. Physical attacks like Strength, Earthquake, Rock Slide are amazing against Chansey in Gen 1. In Gen 1, Chansey can soak up attacks like Ice Beam, Flamethrower, Thunderbolt pretty well because of its high special and high HP, but physical moves like Strength deal massive damage. Okay, you want to use Soft Boiled? You don't have Soft Boiled. You have Thunder, Fire Blast, Minimize, and Rest. Even if you had Soft Boiled, who cares? That attack dealt more than half of your damage. He can just keep using strength on you and he'll take you out. Chansey uses Fire Blast. Okay, good luck with Fire Blast. Okay, what about Gemini? What do you want to do? Rhydon uses strength again. Would you like to see if Chansey tries to heal up or if Rhydon secures another knockout? All right, let's see. Let's see what happens. Okay, Chansey used Fire Blast. Does it hit at least? Wow, okay, it hit. It hit. Rhydon is at 79 out of 181 HP now. Okay, Rhydon gets a critical hit with strength. And Chansey is defeated.
There's a difference in the number of reserve Pokemon.
Okay, who do you send out now, ChatGPT? Send out Alakazam. Okay, you're gonna send out your paralyzed Alakazam. And at least you're keeping track of the fact that it is paralyzed, so you know that it is paralyzed. Okay. Okay, what move do you do? Okay, Alakazam is trying to use Psybeam here. Let's see what's gonna happen. Wait, Fire Blast on Chansey? That's a classic rental set surprise, but Rhydon's physical power won the day. We've now taken out two of their heavy hitters, Rhydon and Chansey. The score is 6-4, and their remaining team is heavily status affected. Gemini's just going to completely destroy here unless it makes some massive mistakes. It'd be really, really hard to come back. Wait, you're sending out Jolteon, but Alakazam is paralyzed. I'm so surprised. Okay, switch. Wait. No. It says actually scratch that. It just keeps switching back and forth. First it said, I'm sending out Jolteon. Then it said, scratch that. Let's go with Executor. Switch Rhydon for Executor. Okay. All right. Okay, sure. Gemini swaps Rhydon with Executor. ChatGPT uses Psybeam with Alakazam. Executor has how much HP now? Okay, and it's not confused, which is kind of funny. Has 147 out of 168 HP. Okay, what now? Are you gonna swap back to Zapdos if your Zapdos is alive? Alakazam uses Psybeam again! Executor is bulky, but still my top special threat to deal with. Psybeam is the strongest consistent move I have that can chip it down. Metronome is too random. Tri-Attack is weaker with unreliable status, and Disable has no immediate use. Keeping pressure is key. Well, you know, you're thinking at least.
What's the matter, trainer?
I have two goals here. Chip away at Alakazam or force a switch. Okay, so Gemini says to use Egg Bomb. Okay, interesting matchup. Okay, let's see. Let's see if Egg Bomb lands. Okay, so Executor uses Egg Bomb. Let's see if it lands. Funny bouncing effect. Oh, that's massive. Alakazam has 64 out of 131 HP now. Alakazam uses Psybeam. Oh, it became confused. Executor has 124 out of 168 HP now, and it's confused. I'm really wondering if Gemini is going to switch here. Okay, Alakazam uses Psybeam again, okay. Switch Executor for Jolteon. Smart move, to be honest, because you know what? Jolteon is going to have good special, so that means that it could tank a Psybeam pretty well if Alakazam is able to get out the Psybeam, so it makes sense to switch to something like Jolteon, and Jolteon will be fast, and it'll be able to deal some damage. Okay, so Executor swaps to Jolteon. Dealt some decent damage. Alakazam used Psybeam on Jolteon, which is now at 88 out of 141 HP. What now? Okay, Alakazam uses Psybeam again. Jolteon is naturally faster than almost everything in the game. With Alakazam paralyzed, you're guaranteed to move first. I'm going for the knockout. If Jolteon has double kick, use it. No! We don't have it, and that would be not very effective. If you only have electric moves, Thunderbolt is the way to go. Given the rental sets we've seen so far, let's assume you're going for your strongest electric attack to force Alakazam to either faint or spam recover. Jolteon uses Thunderbolt, or Double Kick if available. You know, Pin Missile might be good too, to be honest. I actually don't know what would be better, because Bug-type moves would be super effective, because Bug is super effective against Psychic, okay. So, Jolteon uses Thunderbolt. Critical hit. Alakazam is defeated. Okay, so, who do you send out and what move do you use? Okay, ChatGPT says send out Zapdos, so all that's left is a very weak and paralyzed Zapdos, a Tauros that's almost defeated, and a Starmie that is asleep. Is Gemini going to defeat ChatGPT without a single Pokemon fainting in a 6 versus 6 battle? ChatGPT says to use Sky Attack. Gemini says Jolteon used Thunderbolt. Zapdos is an electric type, so it resists Jolteon's Thunderbolt. However, Zapdos is also a flying type, which makes that resistance neutral. Very smart, because Zapdos only has 36% HP left. A Thunderbolt, especially from Jolteon with a high crit rate, could potentially end it right here. But there is a safer, more surgical way to handle this. If I switch to Rhydon, I'm 100% immune to its attacks. Even with Rhydon at 43% HP, Zapdos literally cannot touch me. I guess it could use Sky Attack. However, since Zapdos is already paralyzed and low, I'm gonna stay aggressive. If I stay in with Jolteon, I might finish it without needing to switch again. If Zapdos tries to hit me, Jolteon can tank a hit or two. Jolteon uses Thunderbolt. Very likely going to be defeating it. Okay, so let's see. Jolteon used Thunderbolt. Let's see if Zapdos is defeated. Oh, Zapdos has 5 HP left. Zapdos is paralyzed, can't attack. Zapdos has got to have a pretty good special attack to be able to tank an attack like that. Okay, and now, switch Zapdos to Starmie. Bro, he's gonna use Thunderbolt on you. And you're asleep, what are you doing? Zapdos is critically low on HP and paralyzed. It cannot safely attack or survive another move. Starmie, once awake, can act as a fast special attacker to threaten Jolteon or other opponents. This swap preserves my last viable Pokemon and avoids a guarantee KO. You could have a free swap to Starmie instead. Gemini says the opponent is likely going to do one of two things. Sacrifice Zapdos, let it get hit so they get a clean switch to Tauros. Makes sense to me. Or switch to Tauros. Try to save Zapdos as fodder for later and hope Tauros can pull off a miracle. Either way, Thunderbolt is the play. Well, Gemini, you're gonna be very surprised when you see what happens. ChatGPT swaps Zapdos to Starmie. Jolteon uses Thunderbolt. Let's see how much damage that deals. Critical hit? No critical hit. Starmie is at 17 HP out of 136 now. Are you gonna swap again? Wait! ChatGPT thinks that its Tauros is fainted already. It's just completely given up. It thinks that none of its other Pokemon are It says Zapdos fainted. Your Zapdos didn't faint yet. Starmie is my last Pokemon, so I cannot switch. No! ChatGPT, no, you're not keeping track of this at all. My goodness, I'm getting very worried. Okay, Starmie uses Surf. All right, let's try using Surf. Okay. Okay, and Gemini says Jolteon uses Thunderbolt. Looks like this is really in the bag here. Okay, Jolteon uses Thunderbolt for sure. That KOs Starmie. Okay, who do you switch to now? I'm guessing that ChatGPT is going to say that all of its Pokemon are fainted, but you still have 2 Pokemon left. You have a Zapdos and a Tauros. Who do you switch to now? All Pokemon have fainted. Unfortunately, all of my Pokemon fainted. There's nothing left to switch to. The battle is over. Not yet. Yeah, what are you going to do? Ah, thanks for clarifying. I miscounted fainted Pokemon. That changes things. In this case, swap to Tauros. Okay. Oh, you know what? Tauros might actually be able to take out this Jolteon. That would be crazy if ChatGPT could actually take out at least one Pokemon. Okay, Tauros uses Double Edge. And what are we doing? Oh, we swap back. Super, super, super smart move. Actually, Rhydon's at a little low HP, so
What's the matter, trainer?
that's a bit risky. I was kind of hoping that you would swap to Lapras, but let's see what happens. Okay, so Jolteon swaps to Rhydon. Tauros uses Double Edge. Let's see how much damage that has. Let's see how much damage that deals, sorry. Rhydon has how much HP now, and Tauros has how much HP. Oh, critical hit. Wow, down to 32 HP. Hit with recoil. Uh-oh. 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 32 out of 181 HP. Tauros has 39 out of 151 HP. What now? Because Tauros is faster. Let's see what happens. Oh no. Oh no, I just glanced over. ChatGPT wants to use Double Edge, and Rhydon does want to use Strength. Is ChatGPT going to get 1 KO? Or is Rhydon going to tank the hit?
What'll it do?
Not very effective. It survives. It survives. It survives. I can't believe it. Okay, Tauros used Double Edge.
Good hit.
Rhydon used Strength. Rhydon has 7 out of 181 HP.
There's a distinct
Tauros
difference
fainted.
in the number of remaining
All that's left is
Pokemon.
Zapdos. Which move do you use? Any move is risky, but Sky Attack is my strongest option and can potentially KO Rhydon before it attacks. I don't think so.
Each other down.
Sky Attack is the only chance to remove Rhydon and possibly turn the tide. I'm sorry, but that's not happening. Gemini still has his whole team. You're not turning the tide. I'm so sorry. And over here, Rhydon uses Strength. We're almost out of Strengths, which is kind of funny. Strength is going to be at 6 PP after this move. But there we go. It looks like this Strength, and we get a critical hit. That's just the cherry on top there. It looks like Gemini is the winner here. Not even losing a single Pokemon. Completely destroying ChatGPT in this battle. At the start of this battle, it looked like they both had some pretty solid teams. Lapras didn't even get sent out. That's unbelievable. Gemini played so well with status effects at the beginning. This was unreal. Great battle. And ChatGPT made a few mistakes, saying things like Surf is super effective on Executor, or saying that moves like Thunderbolt will be good on Rhydon, or some kind of mistake like that. We are also playing through Pokemon Soul Silver right now, and that is an amazing series. I really hope that you guys can enjoy that series also. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have an absolutely amazing day ahead of you, and take care, everybody.